What is good, YouTube? What is good? Welcome in to another show once again. Host of ours, Wilson Hill, man. Last Word Productions. Excuse me, but as you all know, I always get the last word. So we didn't do a preview show for the game against the Rams last Dolphins pod, but we gonna do the review of this game, and we're gonna do the preview of the Raiders game in one episode. You know, my apologies for the untimely unnoticed, if we go and say, of us not having a pod. But we here now, man. We're gonna get into some things. And before I get into the Dolphins pod specifically, I want it to be known that whoever is listening, tuning in, watching, I will start to host another pod that's dedicated to the NFL slash NBA altogether. So it's not just gonna be Dolphins content anymore. We're gonna be talking about every team and how we view the league now, certain players, etc. Just the normal pod, the whole nine. So anyone interested in doing that, man, or wanting to join up on the show, more than welcome to DM me on my socials. Y'all know it: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Last Word Production. Just hit me up on that. But let's get started. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. So first and foremost, got my co-host always, Larry. Say what's up to the people, bro.
Yo, what's good, everybody?
Yeah, so we here for another week. We actually got a Dolphin win this time. Dolphins beat the Rams
Mm-hmm.
this week. I believe the score was 23-15.
23-15.
It was 23
Yes,
fifteen,
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the Dolphins went on to beat the Rams 23-15. Held the Rams to all field goals the entire game. I was impressed by the defense, man. I thought the defense played well the entire night, even though they gave up, few plays here and there. That's expected when you going up
Mm-hmm.
against Stafford and Puka Nakul and Cooper Cup. So those kind of things are going to happen. They're going to get theirs. But to hold them to zero touchdowns, you can't ask for any more. So before we get into the depths of the game, what was your first couple thoughts of the game?
Just like you said, man, the defense played well. And, I feel like for the most part, they contained the rest of their weapons. Puka Nakua still had a pretty decent game, and Cooper Cup down the stretch. But I feel like they contained their offense, created turnovers, got sacks, got to the quarterback and everything. So I just want to give, big props to the defense.
Right, right. It's for sure, to say the least. I thought it was for sure a good defensive performance. They have 4 sacks on the night. Calais
Hmm.
Campbell, man, you can't say enough of his impact and what he's been doing, even in the later stage of his career. He's, in my personal opinion, I know many probably would agree, he's a bona fide Hall of Famer at this point. I think it's just
Hmm.
a matter of when he retires. He may not be first ballot because there's a lot of guys who, simply put, are more deserving. Not gonna lie, but he for sure should be in Canton one day, man. There's no doubt in my mind about it. He played well. I thought Zach Sealer played a good game. I
Yeah, it
see
was
Todd
good to have him
Robinson
back.
is steadily making progress. You were saying something, bro?
No, I was saying it was good to have Sealer back.
Yeah, it was. Todd Robinson making progress. Is like you said, it is good to have Sealer back. So that's always a good thing when you have one of your best defensive players back. Jalen Ramsey had a hell of a game. So the defense played well. The defense played well. The offense side of the ball, however, I thought they left a lot on the field to be desired. I
Mhm.
thought Tua played his second worst game of the season, or even though he's only played what it is, 4 games now.
Yeah.
I thought he played pretty bad this game. He made some plays outside the pocket and off script. I will give him credit for that. He typically does not do that. But outside of those 2, 3 plays where he extended the drives, extended plays, I wasn't really moved at all by his performance. And the offense as a whole, I wasn't moved. I mean, Jalen Waddle had a solid game. Tyreek Hill, outside of one receiving touchdown, who we got to talk about, by the way, he did virtually nothing. Odell Beckham had one catch, a big catch, but one catch. Jonnu Smith had a solid game. So I mean, the offense didn't really do much against a bottom five defense in the league. That's a little disappointing, but they won the game at the end of the day. I can't complain too much. So, but what are your thoughts on offense, bro? What you thought you about what you seen?
Um, I see that honestly, just like you said, you wanted to talk about Tyreek Hill. It was kind of a very mediocre day from him, especially for the money he's getting. And this kind of
Mhm.
been the it's kind of been the theme of the season when it came to him. Except that game against the Jaguars, he's been virtually, I'm not gonna say useless, but he's not contributing enough to amount to the deal that we did give him as a number one receiver. Especially when you see some guys out here actually making some plays. We just got to depend on him to make the play. He the number one for a reason. I heard you touched on Jalen Waddle too. He had some drops, man.
Yeah. I mean,
But
but at this point, that's that's expected, bro. I'm. I mean, I get it. The standard is you don't want to see a receiver dropping the ball, but
hmm
it's an every week issue with this dude, bro. I'm not going to dwell on it anymore. That's he good for at least one. He good for at least one game, bro.
so
There's
you
no
just
point of
gave
dwelling.
up on it. You just gave up on the
Yeah, because
staying
it's like,
consistent.
it's like if it's listen, I'm a firm believer when someone show you who they are, believe them. That's who he is. He's going to drop at least one pass a game. It's just who he is, bro. Just who he is. Like I'd rather be surprised than disappointed. I'll be shocked if he win a game where he had 8 targets for 7 catches or 6 catches and none of them was drops, just overthrows or bad throws. I'll be shocked. He just
hmm
it's just him, bro. It's just him. But
But
to,
yeah,
go
other
ahead.
than that, yeah, just like you said, Johnu Smith had a good game. I feel like the running game was kind of underwhelming, but it got the job done. It kind of sucks seeing Raheem Mostert didn't get any carries. I think 0 carries.
Yeah, he had 2 good catches, but yeah, he ain't getting no
He
carries.
had catches, no carries.
Yeah. I don't
But
think
is there
he has
something going on in
carries.
the running back room?
Nah, I just think he's losing his job, bro. I mean, when you go 2 straight weeks, well, did they play? They played the Colts, then the Bills, right? That's how. Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
know. You go 2 straight weeks of critical fumbles, bro. I mean, that's what happens, especially when you got young guns behind you. One of them has pretty much taken the job as a starter in Devon A. Chain. The
hmm
other one, when he
I
has
love how
played in
Jalen Wright
small
run.
snippets, he's looked
hmm
solid. So if you continuously fumbling the ball, yeah, you're gonna be replaced eventually. And that's why I didn't understand at all why there was no moves made at the deadline because again, well, you couldn't predict he was gonna fumble in the Bills game, but at the end of the
hmm
day, he's expendable. I just I just don't see why you don't move off of Raheem Mostert or
I
some of
agree.
these other guys who are aging veterans who you could have got value out of. Because and this is gonna actually transition into the next point I want to make before we get into the Raiders game. I know a lot of people are saying the Dolphins have favorable games coming up in these 2 matchups, which they do. They played a bit, not the Bears. They played the Raiders this week, which we will talk about, and they played the Patriots. So you got 2 matchups that you're going to be favored in that you should win. That's going to push you a record of 5-6. A lot of people are going to start talking about how this team can do the unthinkable, playoffs, etc. My question to you is, bro, how realistic you really think the playoffs are for this team?
It's honestly speaking, is little to none, but I don't count them out from
Mm.
making the playoffs. Just being a fan and being realistic, how the NFL is unpredictable at times. I feel like the team can realistically make the playoffs, but I'm not putting it in my head that they are going to make the playoffs. because you want to just keep it real at the end of the day. Like the team isn't what it used to be, especially from last year or when Tua was completely healthy. I think we dropped too many games and too many to like opponents that will be making the playoffs, like the Colts, the Bills. But I do, I don't rule it out. I'm gonna say,
Okay.
what you think?
In my opinion, man, truth be told, I don't want to start talking playoffs until they go above 500. I think
For sure.
it's, I think it's, I think it's a far shot for them to make the playoffs. Could they still possibly make it? Yeah, because they're not mathematically eliminated. But realistically, I don't think there's no chance in hell to make the playoffs. Because
Mhm.
for one, it's too high up of a hill. It's too steep of a hill to climb. You like you just said, you already have tiebreakers that don't work in your favor with the Titans, the Colts,
Yeah, I forgot the Titans too.
Colts, the Bengals. For my money, I think is a better team than you, and the Chargers. They finished the season with a lofty schedule. The Broncos seem like each and every week they could compete. So realistically, you're competing for one playoff spot, and that may earn you a trip to either what
Kansas
Baltimore
City or Baltimore.
or Kansas City. I mean,
Yeah,
what do we realistically think we're going to do? Like even if we do make
third
it,
seed might be Buffalo.
exactly. Even if we do make it, what we really think gonna happen? Like I don't know about y'all, man, but I don't want to see this team get their ass whooped again on national TV in the playoffs. I don't want to see that. I would rather I would rather take this year on the chin, stock up for next year, regroup, get some young talent in the building. But here's the issue with that though. Right now, the Dolphins sit on 20 million in salary cap as we speak. Right now, the problem is, my boy, next year they will have, I believe, it's somewhere between 200,000, 250,000 in cap space going into next year. So they're going to carry over the 200 million to 20 million, excuse me. But you got a lot of contracts that's going to make an impact on the roster next year. You got Tua's deal, you got Tyreek's deal, you got Waddle's deal, you got Ramsey's deal. Yeah, they're gonna have some money from because 9 out of 10 times they're releasing Bradley Chubb. We all know that it's not a secret. And then they're going to more than likely Teron Armstead is going to retire. I'm not sure how that works with retirement and the cap situation. Maybe it still counts, maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'm hoping he retires.
But as far as I know, is you're not looking at a lot of cap space, and you only got 36 players under contract for next season. So that means because if we're looking at it right, the draft is going to cost you anywhere between 8.5, 10 million. So that's half your cap space right there. That's on top of the contracts that's going to take effect next year, and you got to fill 17 spots. I
Mhm.
just don't believe this is the year to be trying to make this push and to get what you can out of this season. I think this is the season where they should have dished out some veterans like Calais Campbell, even though I just applauded him, like Teron Armstead, like Mostert, whatever other free agent or not free agent, what any other player you see that does not have a future with this team within the next 2 to 3 years, they should have been dealt, in my opinion. But they weren't. We are where we are now. And the team, simply put, I think for the next, I know a lot of people are going to be optimistic about this team the next year or two. But man, it's hard to be when you have no cap space, you have no money, and you got a pretty much a same broken record team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. And to answer the question though, I don't think the team makes the playoffs, bro. I really don't.
You don't think we at least got a chance?
Yeah, they got a chance, but like I said, man, I don't know if I even want them to have a
You don't want
chance.
to, yeah, you don't want to see them go against
I don't
Lamar
I don't want
Jackson.
to see them going up against Superman right now, how Lamar Jackson playing and Patrick Mahomes who turns into Optimus Prime in the playoffs. I don't want to see them get creamed by these dudes because that's what's going to happen. They're going to get the snot beat out of them, regardless of who they play. So I don't want to see that, bro. I just want them to go into next season, figure out the cap situation, fire the GM, possibly fire the head coach. We talked about this already. I said already
Yep.
Chris Greer undoubtedly needs to be fired. The GM you hire makes the decision on Mike McDaniel, whether or not he should think he should keep his job, whether or not he's gonna stick with him. That's up to the next GM to decide, in my personal opinion. If it was
Mm-hmm.
me, I would clean house because I think I told you this before, my boy, and I say it again. I think you will never amount to anything of significance as long as Mike McDaniel Tua are your head coach and quarterback tandem. Me personally, I just don't see that being a successful recipe, especially when you're in the AFC, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are too many great quarterbacks who still got plenty of years left, and there's teams who are going to get it figured out sooner than later. And we on the back burner right now. I just don't think it's going to be feasible for another 3-5 years. I just don't.
Yeah,
But
boy. Now go ahead. What you saying?
I was just gonna say, but we here. We just gotta see what they do from here. But with all that being said, though, let's get into this week's matchup against the Raiders. The Raiders, I believe the Raiders are on if I'm not mistaken, they're on a 5-game lose streak. And simply put, this ain't a good football team, man. There should be no reason at all why the Dolphins lose this game. There's not even a reason why this game should be competitive. I'm not gonna lie. They outside of on the offensive side for the Raiders, outside of Brock Bowers,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who else you really game planning for? Zamir White, Alexander Madison. I mean, I guess they're okay running backs, but you're not you're not writing home about them. So cool, whatever. Then on the defensive side, yeah, Max Crosby problem. Who else? That's it. Like this should be a matchup where you should feel favorable in, and you should win by multiple scores. If I'm being honest, you're at home, you're playing a bad team. This is a game you need to just win, point blank, period, and not just win. You need to beat them convincingly if you're going to convince people that you actually have a legitimate shot to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think you have to beat this team pretty convincingly or confidently. You just have to, in my personal opinion. But with that being said, what are your thoughts, bro? Like, what is your initial thoughts going into the game? What you think
I do
about
think
that?
I do think the Raiders aren't. They're one of those fight teams. They'll come out and perform well, but and then they'll do something just to, lose games. They shoot themselves in the foot really. So I don't feel like this is the type of team we need to be struggling with per se. I feel like the Raiders do need to get beat pretty bad, man. Pretty convincingly. And I think it's just for pride, man. Just to show the NFL like, yo, man, this team ain't just gonna take it on the chin. They ready to compete. Because every team I think has this notion that if we hit the Dolphins in the mouth, they're not gonna retaliate. I think we need to start blowing people out. But that's
Right,
on, the play caller.
right. And it's funny that you say that because just I believe yesterday, or if not the day before, yeah, it was Wednesday. And Deshaun Elliott, former Miami Dolphins safety, for those who don't know, he was on a podcast. I forgot who podcast it was. I can't remember. But he was on a podcast, and this is what he had to say. He said, "Last year I played for a team that was soft as you know what. The majority of the team, there was not mentally tough individuals. Miami will never be a good football team." That's what he said.
Jesus Christ.
That's what this is. And listen, a lot of people were upset with his comments, but I need people to understand something. This ain't nothing new. Jordan Poyer came in the building and confirmed all of this. He said this himself. Your starting safety confirmed this. Yeah, we knew if we hit them in the mouth, they'll lay down and quit. Deshaun Elliott just sat here and told you out his own mouth, who was just with this team last season, there are mentally soft individuals in the building, and the team as a whole is soft. I mean,
Crazy.
what else is there to say, bro? What else is there to say? And I said it once, and I say it again. Me personally, I believe that is a reflection of your head coach. I personally believe that, because you don't see people going around saying the Steelers are soft. You don't see people going around saying the Rams don't know what the hell they doing. You don't see anyone saying the Chiefs ain't got a damn clue. The Ravens. That's what happens when you have coaches in place. I mean, a perfect example is the Chargers right now with John Harbaugh. I mean, bro, they lost so much talent and got better. If that's not a reflection of coaching, I don't know what it is. They lost talent and got better on both sides of the ball. Coaching, bro. Mental fortitude, toughness, execution. It all falls back on who's the head of the snake, and that's the coach. So I just believe this is a reflection of culture. But what are your thoughts, bro? What do you think of his comments and what you think it means?
Hey man, I don't disagree with Deshaun Elliott. We've said this numerous times. The Dolphins are a soft team, and Mike McDaniel doesn't hold anyone accountable on his squad. You could throw your helmet and everything. He don't go over there and just try to, grill his team or get on his team for the mistakes that they make during the game. He'll go over there. Hey man, everything's all right. Give him a hug, give him a kiss on the forehead. Like there's not no grit, get it out the mud type of squad. This is the I'm your friend, open up to me. Like it wasn't it, which is in a feeling aspect, it's not there's nothing wrong with that, but for people on your team, on your defense at that, to come out and say, yo man, that team is soft mentally. They they you hit them one time, they lay down. Jordan Poyer coming in and saying that, man, bro, that's the coach. And this is football at the end of the day. You get hit in the mouth and you laying down, you might as well forfeit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's football at the end of the day. You right about that. I will give credit when this dude, man. I want to say I was shocked, and this is something else we have to discuss. When David Long got cut for not performing up to stuff, you know, Anthony Walker took his job about 2 weeks ago, and he got cut because of it. So there was some accountability there. I will give Mike McDaniel credit for that because that's not something I thought he would ever do. But at the end of the day, I think too many people have been sliding when it comes to the things they get away with, like Tyreek, like Waddle, like Tua, like the old linemen, Robert Jones, Liam Michael Bird, Austin Jackson, these dudes like that, Julian Hill. There's too many weeks where the team simply put isn't executing to the talent level they have. And to their credit, they didn't have that many penalties against the Rams this past week. So the discipline and the accountability may be getting a tad bit better through the season. The issue is that it's too late. I mean, you're 3-6. I mean, listen, I get it. You got the Raiders and you got the Patriots. Who, by the way, the Patriots. Listen, people could think that's an easy game as much as they want to. They're a division rival, and Drake May has been playing pretty damn well. So they could think that's a layup for all they want to. If the Dolphins come into the game with that mentality, they'll lose that game. But we'll discuss that when that game comes. After that, you got the Packers at Green Bay. You got Houston at Houston. You got San Fran at your home. You got Cleveland in Cleveland. You got to play the Jets twice. I mean, not the world's hardest schedule, but would we be surprised if they lost 4 of those games? I mean, I wouldn't be. Just saying, man, like we gotta be a little bit more realistic about our expectations, and we gotta hold this team to a higher standard, because when they don't make the playoffs, it'll be a completely failed season for multiple reasons. The quarterback getting hurt, the coach not being good enough, the GM being terrible at his job, the owner not putting the right pieces in place to make this a well-oiled machine, the players not performing up to the contract they've been given. It'll be all across the board blame. And I hope that will be more than enough to show Stephen Ross that, yeah, it's time to start over. But what are your thoughts, bro?
Nah, I think we do need to start over. And I think it's time to, in a sense, blow up the team, man. It's unfortunate to say that, but at the same time, like you said, you got to be realistic. The team ain't been playing up the par. Unfortunately, it just didn't work. The little experiment didn't work. So there's no hard feelings. It's football at the end of the day. It's time to move on.
You're right. I mean, it's not even that the experiment was a complete failure, because let's just be real about it. Mike McDaniel was hired to fix Tua, because he was hired to make him playable and salvage the 5th overall pick. That's what he was hired for, and he did that. Tua has been playing exceptional under Mike McDaniel. He's been good. He's been a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. There's no denying that. The problem is it doesn't translate throughout the season or the year. And simply put, I don't know if he's sustainable in terms of not just his health, but his play, because we've seen each and every year he's gotten worse throughout the season. And maybe it'll be different this year since he was out for 4 weeks. Maybe we'll see, but I'm not banking on
I feel that.
But let's get into the preview for the Raiders game specifically. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So we're gonna go over some before we go over that. Let me get your thoughts on the David Long cutting though. I forgot to ask you, like, what you thought of that?
I actually was shocked. I didn't know. Like as you were saying it, I was like, wait, David Long got cut. So when I looked it up, I saw it, and I saw we signed
Tyler Dodson.
Dodson, my bad, yeah. So I was looking at it, and I was like, wait, hold on, we cut David Long? When did we do that?
They cut him like 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
It might have been 3, but it was recent. It wasn't no after the game kind of deal.
Yeah, I did see Anthony Walker was in getting a lot of touches, but I didn't know David Long got cut. That's crazy.
Yep.
But I mean, he wasn't producing. So
yeah, that's what happens, and that's what should have been happening. That's what happens when you don't perform. You lose your job, like any other job in America. That should have been the case. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what happened. I see some news outlets saying he has an undisclosed injury that's been kind of hindering him. I'm not buying that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't on the injury reports. No one came out saying anything about him battling anything. He did have an injury at the beginning of the year, but these last couple weeks he's just been bad, bro. Like I'm not giving excuses to a grown man, bro. I'm not in that business. I'm sorry. When you out there on the field and you going, you gonna be held accountable for your play and actions. That's just how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get into the game, man. The Raiders versus
So,
Dolphins. We at home. Let's start with the quarterback position. Who you got the edge to, my boy?
Tua Tagovailoa, unfortunately.
Not unfortunately, that's crazy, man. Yeah, he got the edge. It's not even close. Gardner Minshew,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was gonna be better than what he's been for the Raiders. He's been terrible. He was actually benched. Aiden O'Connell would have been starting if it wasn't for an injury. But yeah, that's pretty cut and dry. Tua got the edge. Let's go to the running back room. Who you think got the edge there?
Giving it to Miami. Just the the dynamic nature of Devon A changes switches the game up. So I think it's Devon A change, Jalen Wright, and Mostert too, because Mostert did come up clutch in the pass game last game. So I'm not gonna rule him out. But I do take him over Madison and Zamir White. So I'm going with the
Yeah, that's for
Dolphins.
sure. That's for sure. I think he's easily better than them two. Excuse me. All right, so let's go to the pass catchers, receivers, and tight ends. Who you got the edge to?
Miami, of course. I think the Raiders don't have a good receiving core at all. I like Trey Tucker, he's young, but Jacoby Myers maybe,
I'm about to
but
say Jacoby Myers not bad, man.
but I'm not taking him over Waddle and Tua. As much criticism as I give them, I still can't take
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Raiders
of course,
group over them.
of course. I was just saying Trey Tucker not bad. Not Trey Tucker. Jacoby Myers not bad.
Now, yeah, Jacoby Myers not bad. He's
I
not
think
bad.
Jacoby Myers is actually a pretty solid receiver. And Brock Bowers is becoming a phenom at the tight end position. He may already be a top three tight end. I'm not gonna lie.
hmm He's been he's been doing well, man.
He actually has more receiving yards on the year than Marvin Harrison Jr. That's
That's
crazy.
wild.
Yeah, that is. But offensive line, who you get an edge to?
I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna wash them.
You said
It's a lot of. I'm gonna get them. I think that's a wash.
okay.
I kind of give both of them the same pros and cons. Just Miami is a little more good at the run blocking scheme,
Yeah,
but in the sense of just allowing pressure, they both are bad. It's a bad group from both of them. We've seen with the Raiders, Gardner Minshew running around, he getting killed. Aiden O'Connell got injured. I think I'll watch this one, even though I do give Miami the edge in the run game.
okay. I'm actually gonna go with Miami surprisingly because I think they've been run blocking extremely well. I know they
Mm.
didn't kill the Rams last week, but it's been flowing the last couple weeks, and you got another bad defensive front that you're going up against. So I think they should much have everything they want this week. So I'm gonna edge
So
Miami. I'm gonna edge Miami. And so let's get into the defensive side of the ball. Let's get into the secondary. Who you think has the edge? Miami or the Raiders?
I'm giving Miami the edge in the secondary. Um, for what it's worth, it's a decent tackling secondary. They play well at times. You know, you could kind of want them to do a little better with giving up the big throws or giving up things in the zone game. But I think we have a kind of underrated, aggressive secondary that's not afraid to pull up and tackle, play underneath, jam on receivers up. So I give overall Miami the edge in the secondary.
Yeah, I don't even think it's close. The Raiders battling injuries right now. I know they got Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs got hurt. I mean, there's just nothing on their secondary that stands out to me.
Hmm.
So I give Miami the edge. Who you get an edge for front seven? You got linebackers and D line.
Man, I know the Raiders are hampered with injuries, but it's kind of tough to vote against Max Crosby, man.
Robert Spillane too, man. I think
Yeah,
he
Robert Spillane as well.
I think Robert Spillane can fucking play, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
It's kind of hard to vote against them. I unfortunately gotta go with the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm an
Unfortunately.
edge the Raiders. I'm an edge the Raiders because I think when you got someone like Max Crosby, bro, who's just a game changer, I think you gotta get I think you have to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's to say the least, he's just different, bro. Like
Yeah,
like
and
that's all you can say. He's just different.
it's unfortunate to say that because you don't want to down Miami. Like Miami doesn't have a great pass rush, and even from the interior game with Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell, that's a good pass rushing interior alongside being able to be good at stopping the run. So man, and then Chop Robertson looked like he coming into his own now. It's
Mhm.
really looking like the young guys are feeding off of the old guys, like Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell.
Mhm.
Chop Robinson, all of a sudden, he's making great plays from the Cardinals and the Rams game, and it's looking like he gonna keep that momentum up. Javon Holland, he came back looking good in this game. Back he got a second. I just think I want to say the D line is getting better. I'm not voting against Max Crosby. I'm confirmed with the Raiders, but I think our D line gonna be a low key a low key threat for the rest of the season.
I mean, if they expect to win any of these games, they better be because the least pressured quarterback in the league is Jordan Love, and if you give him time back there to throw that damn ball, you might get 40 bombs on Turkey Day. But I mean, yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, I like that Chuck Robinson is starting to come into his own. I need to see a little bit more out of him when it comes to run support. I think he still is terrible setting the edge, but that's going to come with time. I think him, putting on some, putting on some weight, lifting a little more. He's going to need to do that, man, because he is horrible in no run support. It's bad, it's bad. But he is getting better. I give him that. He's getting better. I thought Cam Smith played okayish this game as well. He got picked on a little bit, but I thought he played all right. He wasn't horrible, but
Mhm.
at the same time, though, I mean, it's the Rams. Listen, no disrespect to the Rams, but it's the Rams, bro. Like they're a solid team. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not writing home or feeling so much better about this team after beating the Rams, who, by the way, played a horrible game. The Rams did everything to lose that game. Everything. From Stafford missing open passes to them offsides on a made field goal, the defense getting dumb penalties, moving the Dolphins up the field. I mean, they pretty much gave them boys the game as much as they could have gave it to them, honestly. But You don't apologize for winning though. I'm
Yep.
just saying I don't want people feeling as if they figure something out now because they beat the Rams. It's just pump our brakes a little bit. But with all that being said, though, let's get into the game predictions, man. So what score you got, my boy? Who you got winning and why?
Miami, I got Miami, and I got them winning 31-13. I think this is the quote unquote bounce back stretch of our schedule, trying to get some momentum to get into that playoff race, because I've kind of believed that the team has playoff aspirations, so I'm going to go Miami, try to win the game convincingly, 31-13.
Okay. I got Miami winning. I say 40-20. Listen, I think you need to beat the hell out of this team, man. I think they need to come out, play their best game of the year. They need to show that they are for real if they want to be taken seriously in this playoff contention and getting that last wild card spot. They got to play like it. And I think that consists of them doing what they've been doing, running the ball effectively, playing through the trenches. But don't make no mistake about it, though. I want this to be very clear, bro. I don't think this team will get to where they want to get to if Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are not back in form before the season is over. If you continuously have Tyreek and Jalen Waddle both have under 100 yards every game like they've been having since week one, you're not going anywhere. You're just not. I mean, I get it. The Russian attack has been working, it's been effective, but you're 3-6 for a reason. And one of the reasons is your two receivers who both damn near make 30 million annually, they're not performing. They have to be better, bro. Both of them. They have to be.
I
There's
agree.
no other way around it. Truth be told. They just have to be better. But before we head out, my boy, anything else you want to add before we go?
Amen. I seriously think that this is going to be the stretch needed for a playoff push. I think if we drop any game, that's it for the playoffs. I think any drop game by any team in this next stretch of games, that's over. Because the AFC done it turned real competitive real quick, and I don't think a lot of
Yeah.
those teams gonna
I mean,
just
before
drop
before we head out, we could look at
push up.
the schedule. We could look at the schedule for other teams who you're competing against. Because, like I said, you're essentially competing for one playoff spot, and those teams who you're competing against for, let's look at it. You got the Colts and the Bengals, Broncos, Colts, Bengals, right? Broncos right now 5-5. Let's look at their schedule. They got the Falcons this week. Then they got the Raiders. Then they got the Browns. Then they got the Colts. Then they got the Chargers, Bengals, and they close out the season against the Chiefs. It's not a it's not a crazy schedule. Like
Yeah.
I mean, they could win 3 to 4 of these games.
Hmm.
They could go 9-8 and possibly make the playoffs. But here's the problem: you still got the Bengals at 4-6, and their schedule. In my personal opinion, the Bengals could finish this year with 10 wins easily. They got the Chargers this week. I think that's a toss-up game. They got the Steelers. They got the Cowboys, Titans, Browns, Broncos, Steelers. If they split with
Hmm.
the Steelers, they can pretty much win the rest of these games and win 11 games. Because I like them against the Chargers this week. The Cowboys, come on now. Titans, come on now. Browns, come on, bro. Like, have we, bro? Listen, have we seen what? Let me just say this, man. I told so many people, dog, that I told you this, my boy. I told y'all this nigga Jamar Chase was gonna be one of them ones, bro. Like he had the gold jacket potential. This dude is really him for real. And right now, he leads the league in catches, yards, and touchdowns. And receiving touchdowns, excuse me.
Yeah.
Bro, if he keeps this up, I mean, look at the teams you just named. Who realistically, who in the fuck stopping them? I mean, the Steelers, maybe they got a good defense, but other than that, what we talking about? Pat Surtain for the Broncos, yeah, sure. Good luck, bro. one come to the field, any corner getting killed, any given play. Because the thing with Jamar Chase, he doesn't need 10 passes to be effective. All it takes is one. That's all it takes with this dude.
Do you think he's the best receiver in the league right now?
Right now, yeah. Yeah. I think
That's a
Jamar
hot
Chase.
take.
I think he the best receiver in the league right now, bro. I think, listen, what he can do with the ball in his hand on any given play, other than Tyreek Hill, dog. Who else is a home run threat like him? We seen him just last week against the Ravens catch a 15-yard comeback and take it 60 yards after outrunning 4 different defenders. Bro, you can't coach that. Like you wake up out of bed with that, bro. This is just who he is. And that's something that you can't game plan for. That's something that you can't even stop realistically because he's just better than you. That's just what it is. I mean, who would you take over him right now? I mean, we're talking about the explosiveness, speed, route running, hands, the deep threat ability. Is there a better deep threat in the league right now?
I mean, Jamar Chase has been playing out of his mind right now, and we expected this. The LSU boys, man, they going crazy right now. So yeah, Jamar Chase. I'm a Jettas fan myself, but I do think Jamar Chase is having the best season right now from a receiver standpoint. And his
Yeah,
team is 4-6.
yeah. As it stands right now, bro, he's, in my personal opinion, he's the best receiver in the league as it stands right now, and he's clearly, if the team was to finish the season making the playoffs and stuff like that, he's clearly the offensive player of the year. Clearly. Clearly. I don't think it should even be, it's between him and Saquon, in my opinion. But
you don't think Derrick Henry has the case?
Nah, bro. Because what
No? Wow.
Lamar is doing, man. I mean, listen, these two dudes, the difference is the situations. What Jamar Chase and Saquon are doing for their respective teams, they're clearly the engine that drives the bus. Lamar Jackson, what he's doing right now for the Ravens, dog, man, yeah, Derrick Henry opens up the offense, don't get me wrong, but Lamar just playing otherworldly right now. And Derrick Henry is a beneficiary of that, in my personal opinion, because teams, they're not stacking the box like they once did against Derrick, because teams are still trying to account for Lamar not only being a rusher, but him also beating him over the top, because he's actually the most accurate quarterback in the league right now on 25+ yard passes. So they're not accounting for Derrick Henry as much as they used to. But Jamar Chase, Saquon, every single game, bro, these dudes got at least 3 eyes on them, 3 sets of eyes on them, at least. It's not, to me. I wouldn't be shocked if Derrick Henry did do it. I'm not saying he doesn't have a shot at all, but I just think for my money, if I were voting, yeah, I'm voting them two before Derrick.
I feel that. I think Derrick Henry still leads the league in rushing yards, no?
Nah, Saquon do not.
I mean, not rushing yards, rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I was just asking. I was just trying to see if you think he got a case or not. But yeah, Jamar Chase, he playing insane right now, man. And this is he said he won a contract. So
Hey, boy, listen. They honestly they fucked up. They should have just paid him. Cause dog, Larry, the man through 10 weeks, 66 catches, 981, 10 touchdowns. Bro, he's
crazy.
on pace. He's on pace for 20 touchdowns, almost 1,900 yards, and 140 catches. Bro, the Bengals are going to have to pay him $40 million a year. Like, bro, they're this if he keep this up, they're gonna have to guarantee that man $200 million, bro. He gonna get a quarterback contract. He is destroying the league right now. And he's showing them that, okay, since y'all wanted me to bet on myself, I'm gonna make it to the point y'all just hand me the paper and I write a number. That's what he's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, dog, I wouldn't be surprised if this man went to Washington, bro. And oh my Jesus, if he went to Washington with Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin,
You think
boy,
so?
I think it could happen, man. Because I think the Bengals they're notoriously cheap. Everyone knows this. I don't think if they were to trade him, which I doubt they will, because bro, you don't find this kind of receiver in every draft. I get it. Good receivers come a dime a dozen, but exceptional, they don't. This dude is exceptional. I think they're going to shortchange him, and I think eventually there's a possibility he will be traded. Now, I don't think that will happen, but I'm not ruling it out either. And the first team that should be on the phone for him is Washington. I 1,000% believe that. And the reason I believe that is because if you pair him with Jaden Daniels, a young phenom who's on a rookie deal, who's not expensive at all.
Mm-hmm.
You pair him with Terry McLaurin, Brian Robinson, and these dudes. You go out in the draft, you improve a little bit in free agents because they're going to. People forget, bro. The Commanders next season, they're going to have $100 million in, you feel me, in cap space. They can get whoever the hell they want. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if they go out and get this dude, it's gonna be real bad for the NFC South, bro. Not South, NFC
NFC
East.
East.
It's gonna be real bad for the NFC East, dog. Because I told you this when this man was drafted, bro. We talking about a gold jacket potential kind of receiver. We talking about a game changer. That's what he is. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he went to the Commanders. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked if he went to the damn if he found his way into damn New York. Not the
Who, the
Jets.
Giants?
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. But I think the Commanders are the most realistic though. But that'll be it for the show, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning in as always. Once again, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Be sure to follow on Instagram as well. Last Word Productions, we all over, man. And before we head out, my boy, anything else you want to add?
Miami Dolphins get this done.
Yep. Let's get it done. Improve the 4-6, and hopefully that means we on the right track. But we out though. Peace, y'all.